At over 90 years old, Campagnolo is one of cycling's most famous brands. And even though in 2024 it's not equipping the World Tour, when it releases something new, it is usually worth taking notice. Well, today we've got our hands on a bike with all the latest top-of-the-range kit that the Italians have to offer. It's got a brand new power meter that's literally been released today, the latest Super Record WRL group set, fresh back from its full review here at road.cc, and some very bling Bora Ultra WTO wheels, which were released earlier in the year. In today's video, we're going to find out if it's any good. Okay, it's probably going to be good, but is it as good or even better than the competition? And is Campagnolo still a force to be reckoned with when it comes to the cutting-edge performance technology? We'll start with this new power meter because it is as new can be. Unfortunately, this is also the only part of the group set that we haven't yet used, but let's take a look at some of the tech and what we know about it so far. It's not exactly a secret that Campagnolo was going to be bringing out a power meter. It's been rumoured for quite some time. There's been patent after patent, and ever since the WRL group set got released, we always assumed that these recesses were for a future power meter. What we actually got though was this, a spider-based power meter, which Campagnolo calls HPPM, or High Precision Power Measurement. In the press release, we're informed that the power meter uses 16 sensors and 1 gyroscope, and it measures to a claimed accuracy of plus or minus 1% and at a very high frequency rate. If these claims are to be believed, then it's mighty competitive. The latest Shimano R9200 power meter, for example, only has a claimed accuracy of 1.5%. And both we and other reviewers have found that it's not always all that reliable. SRAM Red, meanwhile, is far more reliable and utilises a power meter courtesy of Quark. Crikey. But even that only has a claimed accuracy of plus or minus 1.5%. The SRM Origin Power Meter 9 does match this with a claimed accuracy of plus or minus 1%. The high spec doesn't stop there though. The angular velocity and torque signals are measured every 5 milliseconds. That's 200 hertz, which Campagnolo says gives the clearest possible reading of the data, and it's also got a titanium axle and a carbon fibre crank, which does look pretty bling. Speaking of cranks, you can get the crank set in the standard lengths of 170, 172.5 and 175mm, and with 4529, 4832 or 5034 chainring options. This port here is to charge it up, and it has the same magnetic connector as the rest of the group set, with each charge said to last over 1 month. What do you reckon then? Was the new Campy power meter worth the wait? And what do you think about its looks? Let us know in the comments section below, and whilst you're there, make sure you're subscribed to the channel to stay up to date with all the latest bike tech. Now, power meters are all well and good, but the flagship product in Campagnolo's lineup is this Super Record WRL group set. This is still quite new. It was released last year, and since then we've been putting the miles in on it to see how good it is before giving it a score out of 10. Campagnolo's Super Record group sets have always been on the expensive side, but this latest one differs because, as the name suggests, it's wireless. Like on SRAM AXS group sets, each mech has a separate battery, but unlike on SRAM, they're not interchangeable. So if one runs out of battery out on the road, then there might be a bit more swearing. Also, like we've seen with SRAM, the chainrings have got smaller, thanks to a wider range cassette. The smallest sprocket at the back is a 10 tooth, and that means that the chainrings don't have to be as big to get the same gear. We rather like this modern approach and find for amateurs it generally feels more comfortable as you can stay in the big ring for longer. Weight-wise, the latest Super Record is also competitive, and on our scales the group set came in at 2,571 grams, excluding brake hoses, which will add a few grams. That compares well with Shimano R9200, which we reviewed at 2,507 grams, or 2,518 grams of SRAM Red. When riding the new group set, the first thing you'll notice is that Campagnolo has done away with the thumb shifters, which, if you aren't aware, sat on the inside of the hoods. They were not only used on the previous version of the electronic Super Record EPS group set, but for a good few decades before that. This time around though, Campagnolo has gone for 2 buttons on the brake lever. We have to admit that at first we were a little disappointed, but that nostalgia was short-lived as this design works extremely well, especially when paired with the great ergonomics of the new shifters. The braking on offer from Super Record is also very impressive. Campagnolo might have been a bit later to the hydraulic disc brake game than the Americans or Japanese, but the calipers are very powerful and deliver it in a way which is smooth without ever feeling too grabby. I also think that these rotors are probably some of the best looking on the market. Campagnolo claims a battery range of around 750 kilometers. That's 466 miles for us English lot. But obviously that depends on how much you use your gears. One of our review bikes using this group set covered 415 miles and went back with around 33% left in the batteries. So that should give you a good idea of the kind of range you can expect. When you get to this sort of price point, I don't think value for money is as much of a deal breaker as it is for the lower to mid-level group sets. Campagnolo has always kind of had that style of delivering a product to the marketplace, and the price is what it is. In this instance, about £800 more than its competitors. For a full group set, you're looking at £4,500, which is more expensive than Shimano Dura-Ace at £4,280, and that's with the power meter included. Without it, it would be £3,700. SRAM's top-end red AXS group set is fully wireless like Super Record, but it too is cheaper, around £3,700. The only place where Super Record isn't competitive is the price. For some, that'll be a deciding factor, but for many, it won't be. People spend an obscene amount on bikes. Let us know what you think of the aesthetics in the comments below. Personally, I like the naked carbon fibre on these cranks, but I don't think it's quite as pretty as the previous generation. As for performance, it has a completely different feel from Dura-Ace and Red in the way it shifts, but neither better nor worse. In our opinion, it's stunning to use, and while the price is high, our reviewer still scored it a 9 out of 10. Did you know that in the 1970s, Campagnolo supplied wheels for Ferrari's Formula 1 cars? Well, they did. It's pretty cool, isn't it? Not these. These are the new ones. These are the Bora Ultra WTO wheels, which, as you might expect, are wider, faster, and lighter than ever before. That's Campagnolo's press release. Another little fact for you, the WTO bit of the name stands for Wind Tunnel Optionized. I learned that earlier today. The new range consists of 35mm, 45mm and 60mm rim depths, and we've got the mid-depth option on this bike. All three depths now get an internal rim width of 23mm, which Campagnolo says benefits aerodynamics and trajectory control, whatever that bit means. As you'd probably expect from a set of wheels in 2024, they'll happily take tubeless tyres, and the new wheels of course still feature the distinctive G3 spoke lacing pattern, which apparently isn't just for looks but contributes to enhanced stiffness too. This is also how you can tell the Bora Ultra WTOs from the non-Ultra version. These Ultras have 7 groups of spokes, whereas the non-Ultras have 8. You still get internal spoke nipples, which do look good and is supposedly slightly more aero, but will also make them harder to work on. We've previously been very impressed with the performance of Campagnolo wheels, but they have previously been a bit on the heavy side. Well, these new rims have undergone some serious weight reduction. They're 135 grams lighter compared to the previous version, meaning that this 45mm deep version weighs in at 1,425 grams, which, well, it's much more competitive than the old ones. The price though, £3,146 and 50 pence. Don't forget the 50 pence. So, can Campagnolo still compete? Well, it's in nearly all cases more expensive than rivals such as Shimano, SRAM, whichever other wheel set you want. But we have found that it's more than capable of still producing top level tech. The World Tour pros might not be using this gear in 2024, but we think that's more to do with finances and a bit of luck than the quality of the products. As has been the case throughout much of Campagnolo's history, you have to pay a premium. But in return, you will still get some of the best looking and best performing kit in the world. Let us know what you think of Campagnolo's latest equipment down in the comments section below, as well as which of these components you'd most like to have on your bike. As always, please give this video a like if you found this content interesting, subscribe to the channel for lots more of the latest cycling tech, and we'll see you next time.